Hi, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Nick.
And we are Working Class Nerds.
We're the podcast that gives you no information about your favorite information.
Today is Thursday, June 20th, 2019, and you can find this, yes, we're back on the Yeti Microphone podcast, on Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. You can find the both of us on Twitter. I am at MarcusB814.
And I am at Nick Vern. That's NickVern. And this week's episode, we're talking about what we're excited about from E3 and PvP in SWTOR, especially regarding the new updates. So we'd also like to break down the Dantooine incursion, and joining us are returning guests Nezzir and friend of the podcast, Medullah. So welcome to the show, both of you, and what have you been up to this week?
Welcome. Hey guys.
Howdy.
All right. Yeah, just basically real life and family has been taking a lot of my time, but yeah, getting in a little bit of work, a little bit of PvP. Haven't done much raiding with the Bad Feeling guys lately, unfortunately, but trying to do a little bit of the pirate incursion.
It's summer. You know, I feel like some people disappear in the summer. Some people are more available in the summer. It's a weird thing.
Yeah. I think I'm more of a disappearer.
Well, it's because you get busy, right? So it doesn't matter for me. I'm homebound.
Right.
Like for the next 5 years, I'm home. I don't have a choice with kids. Right. So Nezzir, what do you think of the Dantooine incursion in a few short words?
I like it. I'm glad it's an event rather than a daily area that's all the time, because I think people would get burned out of it pretty quick.
Sure. So Medullah, what have you been up to? And welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
And and just for the record, I did not steal 100 million credits from you.
He rightfully earned it.
Yes.
That's not how I remember it. I remember waking up one day, 80 million credits or 100 million credits out of my legacy bay. No idea where it went.
So Medullah, are you going to pay the 150 million for the achievement?
You're acting like I didn't do that the first day.
Well then.
Yeah.
So Medullah, what have you been up to?
I'm still pretty much not playing Star Wars. The 5.10 gearing changes kind of turned me off it for a little bit. So I'm taking a little bit of a break until 6.0 comes out. Still log in, do some PvP here and there. I did spend a lot of time on Dantooine during the events. I'm a little bit of a progress bar whore, and I wanted to build up my reputation with it so I could get all the cool stuff, including the Ugnaught Companion. So I burned through the dailies a lot with a lot of different alts, and as you said, I did do the secret achievement where you pay the ransom 10 times for 150 million credits, just so that I can click a button and shine gold. So,
okay,
totally worth it.
Right. So you kind of, in my eyes, you kind of contradict yourself because you say you haven't been playing a lot, but it sounds to me like you've been playing a lot. So technically, what do you call a lot?
Right. That's what I want to know.
Well, I would say in the last 2 weeks I played a lot, which was probably a couple hours a day to knock things out. I got the Dantooine dailies done, down to where I could get them done within 20, 25 minutes. Most of the time, though, when I'm thinking I play a lot, it's 3-4 nights a week, a couple hours a night doing hardcore raiding, and I really haven't done that in a bit. But yeah, you're right. During the event, I did play what I would define as a lot. But hey, man, progress bar. Gotta get it up. Gotta get those achievements. Fall down the well. Get your secret one there.
Well, I did jump down the well because it looked like I could jump down it, and then it popped up with an achievement. I was like, well, I didn't expect that. Medical
Did you get this? Did you get the secret achievement from the
Yes.
the bird on the island?
No.
That one's hilarious. I got that one without knowing it was there. You go to the island in the center of Dantooine, and there's a little parrot chilling there.
I saw it. It's literally Polly. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you go and you sit next to him, and as you're sitting next to him, you start seeing a little buff appear on your thing saying, wait, this isn't good. Uh-oh, this isn't good at all. I don't know what's happening. And just things like that, and eventually you end up finding a secret achievement, which is quite hilarious.
That's
pretty
sweet.
funny.
Yeah.
Well,
no titles or anything, but still funny.
I think that could technically call playing a lot. For the last 2 weeks, you've been playing a lot.
Well, you got to realize, man, I'm not doing this every week like you guys do. So when you say, "What have you been doing in Star Wars?" I'm thinking over the last couple of months. I'm not a celebrity like you boys.
It's not. Well, we're not celebrities. We're but
you should see our setup.
Yeah, exactly. Well, today we like Nick is sitting basically on my lap right now, and it's kind of uncomfortable. But
come on, guys, you're internet famous.
Yeah. So, but not only Star Wars, I can't wait to talk about my week because I started playing a game last night, and I can't wait to talk about it. But I know Nick only plays Star Wars. Maybe I get him to log in once a month, and we'll do something fun, if that.
Right.
But he's over there playing
all kinds of other stuff.
Well, console.
Well,
games.
if we're talking about what have we been doing other than Star Wars,
yes,
my obsession over the last couple of weeks or month is building a main cabinet. So I bought one of those Street Fighter arcade one-up cabinets. Don't know if you saw those.
Whoa,
They're about 3/4 the size of a regular one. And I tore its guts out, replaced the buttons with higher quality joystick buttons, hooked a computer up to it, USB encoder, loaded up a whole bunch of arcade games. So now I've got a Street Fighter machine that has literally every fighting game you can think of on it.
I thought you bought a Mortal Kombat one.
I did. I bought the Mortal Kombat one too, but it's pure and untouched.
Oh, wait, is that the one from Walmart that's like kind of small?
Yep. Yeah.
Wait, so you have 2 arcades?
I do.
That's so cool. I was looking at buying the Mortal Kombat
We need to
one.
go over to Medullah's house for a minute.
I know.
You guys are welcome anytime. It's a joy of being a single man. I don't have quite the bills that you boys do.
Well, I don't yet either, but I will.
I do.
I have the student loan debt still, so that if that counts for anything.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
You mean your second mortgage?
Right. First mortgage, I should say.
Has the payment started?
No, not yet. I can defer because I'm applying to grad school.
Oh, so you're safe for a few more years.
Right.
You're safe.
Just got to keep going
now.
to school.
Right.
Yeah.
Get a couple more degrees.
Oh, he's just got to be in school for the rest of his life.
Yeah, that's
Nothing wrong
And
with that.
he's gonna retire, and that's when his student loans kick in.
Yeah, I'll do it right.
Anyway,
That's,
go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, isn't that the way though? As long as you can defer them, but does the interest rate go up if you defer or no?
Yes. It does.
You still get it kicked in with the interest for sure.
Yeah.
It never stops. You just don't have to pay it until you start the payments.
Right.
But deferring does not mean no insurance. The interest still goes up.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
So that's what
Sucks.
kills me. I never ended up getting my 4-year degree. I only got a couple of associates. And the completionist in me wants to go back and get a bachelor's just to say I did it.
Right.
But I look at the cost, and I've got a job that is fantastic that I don't need my degree for. So I'm lazy. That's all there is to it.
After a while, work experience trumps the degree anyway.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
agree. It's like it opens the door, but you don't get to walk through it until you have experience and stuff, basically. A lot of the time. Anyway. My degree.
I hire people a ton, and let me tell you, the degree is the last thing I look at.
Right. Exactly.
Awesome. So Nick, okay, I haven't talked to you for 2 weeks.
Basically.
I've texted Nick. I would say every 3 messages I'll get a reply, or it'll be at like 1:30 in the morning. It actually got to the point where I was like, dude, did I make you mad? And he's like, no. Why? And I'm like, because where the fuck have you been? And he's like, oh.
Bay State Medical Center.
Yeah. So Nick, what have you been doing?
Well, as you could kind of guess from that intro, working a whole bunch. I'm on orientations for my new job still, so that means I'm working like a ton, a lot more than I normally would. A lot of 12-hour shifts, pretty exclusively those, and like 4+ a week. So
That sucks.
that leaves not a lot of time for anything but like sleeping and prepping for the next day.
Well, I was just going to say, because, okay, if you work, let's say 7 to 7,
Yeah,
12 hours, right?
which I did earlier this week.
Right. So you work 7 to 7, and then you get home at 7, but then you're scheduled the next day for a 7 to 7.
Right.
You don't get to see daylight.
Pretty much. Well, I mean, it's bright when I drive in, and where I work has no windows, so.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
I'm in the dungeon.
Exactly. So, like, the days become nights, and it's just bleh.
Right.
And then you get a day off, and it's like you want
Almost.
to sleep the whole time.
Right. You're right. Or maybe you can go to the gym once. Speaking of which, last week I started going back to the gym, which is a CrossFit gym. My dad goes to the same one. So, and I used to do CrossFit.
CrossFit!
Way back in high school. Before it was less, like, so widespreadly douchey, I guess.
Yeah.
Before it was cool, if you will. But I haven't for, like, 5 years or so. So went to my first class last Thursday. And the workout was extremely intense, even by, like, normal CrossFit standards. And with involving a lot of pull-ups, which I can't do. I have to use a band to help assist me because I'm fat.
They have bands to help you do pull-ups?
Like giant rubber bands, basically.
You stand on them?
No, you like tie one to the bar and then loop your foot around the other one, and it like will boing you back up.
Oh, so it's basically to train your muscles how to pull you up.
Right, so that like you're still pulling yourself up, but the band's helping you.
Awesome.
If that makes sense. So I had to use a big old rubber band. But even the CrossFit people that go all the time were like destroyed by the workout. So, of course, chunky me, having not done this in forever, was entirely destroyed. Like, my biceps hurt so bad, I could not even straighten my arms. Because if I straightened them, it would stretch them. And it felt like the muscle was ripping off of the bone for at least 4 days afterwards.
What?
So, like, Saturday, I worked out on a Thursday. Friday, I was, like, okay. And then Saturday, Sunday... Monday, I was like a T-Rex, basically. Just walking around.
So you were like Barney?
Like, yeah, with Barney arms.
Did we lose Nezzir and
it sounds
Medullah?
like we don't.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
All right.
You guys were just having such a deep conversation. I didn't want to cut in.
All right.
Appreciate it. No, but so usually...
we are enraptured by you guys.
Well, thank you.
Well, just for the rest of the show, Nick is no longer Nick. He's Barney.
Barney? All right, deal. So
did you go to CrossFit today, Barney?
I did go to CrossFit today, but it was a lot easier. It was by comparison.
What a dick! I am such a jerk. Anyways,
so here's the key question, Nick.
Yeah.
After you get done with CrossFit,
Barney.
do you have one of those terrible shakes?
I do.
Talk about how it really makes you feel great.
No, it doesn't make me feel great. It's just that I'm thirsty, and it's supposed to be good for me, quote, in theory.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's good.
Is it a shake or like a shake weight?
No, it's like it's more of a shake weight than anything. Is
it like a protein shake?
Yeah. So what I do is like vanilla whey protein. I make mine it's probably less healthy, but whatever. I heard somewhere somebody say that if you put like sugary crap in your protein shake, it's supposed to help the protein absorb better or whatever. I don't know if it's true or not, but
bull.
It's probably bull. But well,
it tastes good.
Exactly. So I do vanilla protein powder, and then I put Tang, like the orange juice, like
Tang.
It's like orange Kool-Aid, basically.
I haven't heard that word in forever.
So
God, I haven't seen Tang in years.
The last time I heard Tang, there was a movie called Pootie Tang.
Do they even still make that?
Yes, I buy it. So I with the vanilla and the orange.
It's like a creamsicle.
It's like an orange creamsicle, and I'm like, ooh, my inner fat kid here is like, yes, creamsicle after the workout. So
that's good.
Although yes, I do have a protein shake. It's like not so like.
Well, no,
kale
a protein
involved.
shake is perfectly fine. It's the California flaxseed lime kale smoothie with a squirt of lemon that always makes me laugh.
I mean, cayenne pepper or whatever. It's a cleanse.
What
drink.
is it? Yeah, but if I drank that, I would instantly poop. I wouldn't even make it home. I would just straight up poop my pants. Like if I had all of that, just inject in or drink
chia
all of that,
seeds.
Yeah, I'd be in my.
You'd be chia seeds in your socks.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that was back in the day. You wouldn't be able to tell now because office jobs made me fat again. But I was a heavy weightlifter, and I'm also lactose intolerant. But the only way to get good protein was to eat whey.
Right.
So as soon as I got done lifting, I'd run home, have my protein shake, and then run for the bathroom to make sure that it was taken care of.
Right. Yeah, that's like our cousin Alexa's the same way.
Yeah. Welcome to Working Class Nerds, where we'll talk about how you can go poop.
Right.
Well, that's why. So
laxative tips with Nick and Marcus.
Yeah, Barney and Marcus.
Barney and Marcus. Sorry.
Anyway, the biggest thing for me is I can't do yoga. I tried it. So Amazon has the Prime videos. They have like, learn how to do yoga. And one day I was like, oh fuck, I'll try it.
Yeah.
So Carrie comes home and I'm like trying to like stretch and I'm farting like crazy. And I'm like,
can you imagine having a fart or hold all those in class?
No, I wouldn't. I would just let it go.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't care if it stunk, but like don't stand next to me. They'd put me in the back.
See, Marcus, You strike me as someone that'd be doing DDP yoga, Diamond Dallas Page.
I don't know what that is.
Oh
Well,
my God.
I know who Diamond Dallas Page is.
Oh, that's his big thing now. He's got a whole set of yoga videos. I'm
Google
not kidding
this
with you.
No, yeah, that's it. He's
Anyway.
working with old former wrestlers. Yeah.
So,
that's cool.
so Nick, what else have you been doing?
So I helped Mariana, my girlfriend, greatest girlfriend in the world, finish moving out of her apartment near Yukon. And after we had everything out, which it didn't take us long, she had all of her shit packed up basically ahead of time. We had like a picnic in her living room and played Mario Kart, like on the my TV, which was pretty sweet. And got fairly inebriated and then slept on her bed and then moved that out last, which was pretty fun. We at the same time we also watched the first episode of Chernobyl, the HBO show about the reactor exploding. And I didn't realize how terrifying radiation poisoning is. It was like all of a sudden people would just like melt and be like a pool of blood and guts and like have holes in their whatever arm or whatever. So I don't know if you guys have watched it, but
Yeah, I've heard good things. I have not seen it yet.
it's really good. Maybe don't watch it if you live near a reactor or something, or don't watch it at night.
Well, don't spoiler it for me. I don't know anything about Chernobyl. As long as everybody gets out happy, I'll be good.
My wife.
Go ahead.
My wife actually was from Armenia, and actually, which was part of the former Soviet Union, and lived during that part of the world during that time. So it's like she doesn't even want to watch that show.
Yeah, to know how like close the world, Europe came from being.
She kind of lived through it on the periphery, and so she doesn't even want to watch it.
I don't watch anything scary.
It's not scary. It's just like really suspenseful, especially because it's real. Like Mariana kept asking me, "Wait a minute, this really happened?" I'm like, "Yes, it really happened." She's like, "Holy shit, this is crazy."
Wait, it really happened? So when people say they're going to go Chernobyl on you, that's what they're referring to?
Yes, exactly.
Meltdown.
Exactly. Remember in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1? So the power plant is called Chernobyl, I believe, but it's in the town of Pripyat in the Ukraine, if I remember correctly. And in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, the sniper mission where you're like in the ghillie suits with Captain McTavish, I think it is, that's in Pripyat. Like a few years after the Chernobyl incident. So it's still all radioactive and shit.
All right.
If for context.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. I'm still working through God of War, but I haven't really played recently because I've been in the ER so often.
But I'm going to circle back to the whole Mariana story.
Oh, yeah.
So she's no longer 45 minutes away.
Now she's an hour and a half.
That's fucking awful.
Well, it is what it is.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm feeding the negativity on that.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for pointing it out. Rubbing salt in the wound.
Yeah.
I was thinking of starting to play Pokemon again. Not like...
Like Pokemon Go?
No,
Just download it, and you could probably catch a Pokemon in my basement.
No.
Maybe Pikachu is here.
No, it'd probably be like Doug Trio or something that looks like a penis. Onyx. Or whatever. I don't know.
I'm sorry, I was looking around. Yeah, crickets.
Yeah.
I just heard penis and it got real quiet.
Yeah.
I just have no words for you, Nick.
I used to like Pokemon a lot when I was a kid.
So what you're saying is you want to play Pokemon because of the nostalgia?
Yeah, not that I like it.
Isn't there a new one?
Yeah, but I wouldn't play the new one. I'd play like one of the old ones and like use cheat codes and get through it like 2 days or something. But that's fine.
Why not play the new one?
Because then I'd have to buy it. I already have the old ones. Or I can download like an emulator and play the ROM of the old one for free.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. And I think that'd be pretty fun, especially if some listeners hit us up on Twitter and said which starter Pokemon I should pick. Just saying.
I don't even know. Pikachu is the only one I know of because my kid has one, and she's 3. But when they came out, they were like, Marcus, you going to catch a Pokemon? Nope.
Oh, with Pokemon Go, you mean?
No, just when I was a kid.
Oh,
when they first came out. Remember the original Game Boy?
Yeah.
Now you can get
gray brick.
Now you can get the gray brick, but now you can get the gray brick sleeve for your phone.
Yeah.
That sits on the back of it, and we can play original Game Boy games on the back.
That's pretty cool. That's really cool.
Well,
I
want a Nintendo
Gotta love
Switch,
technology.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's it for me. Marcus, what have you been up to this week?
Well, so nothing big has been going on. You know, nothing at all. You know, spending 6 months in Dread Fortress and killing Brontes, it's not a big deal, right? Fuck that, it's not. We worked our balls off to do that, okay? When we killed her, I squeezed my mouth so hard I thought I broke it, okay? And I screamed kind of like, we fucking did it! And then I was like, ah, shit.
Woke up the kids.
Well, I don't know if I did, but I definitely woke Carrie up because I heard the stomping of the feet walk across to like the bottom of the stairs. So she probably thought I woke up the kids.
Even after Brontes for a while.
6 months. So so the Death Star Troopers were a story mode ops team, and I was sick of winning. And
You wanted a challenge.
I wanted a challenge. I felt like I could go into story mode naked and win, right? So everybody's like, oh, go do Terror from Beyond. It's the first one you do. And I'm like, no. And everybody's like, you're doing Dread Fortress first? I was like, yep. Well, shit was tough. Trying to teach 8 people who have, well, I'm not saying everybody because, you know, we all know there's one person that I'm going to say this. They're going to be like, oh, I did hard mode before. But for the most part, most of the team was not a hard mode caliber team, right? So trying to take 7 people, well, 8 people, no, 7 people, because we'll give the one guy the benefit of the doubt. We're not going to call out his name. But Dr. SWTOR and the 7 other people never did hard mode.
And you're learning it yourself.
At the beginning.
Right, yeah.
So, and then I realized, holy shit, we need help. So we called in the help of Lauren and Kogus and Medullah and Brian and a bunch of people. And we've had help achieve winning. And we lost some players in the beginning because, you know, some really good players who would have been great on the hard mode team. And they left and we replaced them and blah, blah, blah. So it's gone up and down. So 6 months later, we started the last week of December. So basically the Sunday before New Year's. And we just beat it 2 weeks ago. Right after our last episode.
Oh, I know. I'm with the, as you know, the Thursday night Porg team with Brian, and we've been fighting Explosive EC. What a pain in the ass that is.
Well, all right. So here's what I've learned from ops, and what I'll tell you is story mode. Everybody can be naked. You can barely heal. You can barely DPS, and you can barely tank, and you win, right? But in hard mode, you actually need to know what your character does. I'm not saying you need to be the best geared, but you actually need to know what buttons do what.
Like, it's mechanics. It's the mechanics.
Right, yep. Well, right, but you need to know what your tune can do. So I'm going to talk shit about myself. A while ago, somebody was like, Marcus, do you use Undying Rage? And I'm like, what the hell is Undying Rage? And they were like, are you fucking kidding me? It keeps you can't die for 4 seconds. Like, no damage for 4 seconds. I'm like, huh.
That's a great.
Well, that wasn't even on my ability.
Here's why you don't know it, Marcus. Because you don't PvP that much.
Well, that might be true, but what I'm trying to say is, if I've learned anything from hard mode ops, is that I've learned so much about what my character can do, as compared to just swinging lightsabers.
Right.
And so, moving on, Brontes is dead. This Sunday we're starting Scum and Villainy. I'm uber excited just to see something new.
You guys are going to breeze through that. That's
not as hard.
Well, so there's 2 fights that are hard to...
Try Eternity Vault while you're at it, too, by the way.
No. So Scum and Villainy is... Styrak is a tough
He's a heavy
fight.
DPS check.
Yep. So you go with 5 DPS, and then there's... Who's the auction house guy? Ah, shit. Yeah, the auction house guy. That fight, everything that I've read and seen, that fight's tough. That's just
even that
mechanics.
One's not too bad as long as you do it right up front.
Well,
is
correct.
that the one with the Tower of
You have to buy the... No, that's Karaga's Palace.
Oh, yeah.
Either way, okay. So we killed Brontes. Brontes is dead. I got my 2 Corruptor Blades. I'm wicked excited. Moving on. I've gotten one, and then Doc SWTOR stole the next one from me. I told everybody I really wanted it, and he needed it, and then he kept it. What a jerk face. But I love him. Anyway, so then I finally got my second Corruptor Blade. Anyways.
Wait, what's a Corruptor Blade?
You didn't see my post on Instagram?
No,
Nick,
I'm on a social media cleanse all month. Oh, yeah.
You're not really on a social media cleanse. You're still on Reddit and you're still on Snapchat. That's not a social media cleanse.
Snapchat is messaging, and although not really if you look at the story part. Oh, those are cool.
Okay.
Oh, for those just listening, I have no idea what SWTOR is. All two of you. The the blades look like swords that have like red electricity between the hilt and the blade on one side. It's pretty cool.
That's well done. Anyways, Dantooine, I've done it. Cool. Whatever. Moving on. I tried out for another hard mode team on Tuesday night this week, and I've realized that
You didn't get a call back?
well,
You didn't make the 53-man roster?
I
Or
know
8
that.
in
Well,
this
my
case?
DPS was fine. I don't like not being in charge. Okay.
Yeah.
Like
You don't say.
Wait a minute. Weren't we talking about kind of sort of merging Death Star Troopers and the Thursday Pork team? Wasn't there some conversation about that?
So what's happening is Death Star Troopers needs another night. Death Star Troopers needs another night. And the only night the entire team but one can do is Thursday. So that nominates Thursday. So what I suggested was we kind of merge the teams and kind of put a super team together on Thursday nights.
Super team.
We could do 16-man possibly.
And that is the plan. So if the Porg team gets 7 people or 8 people and Death Star Troopers is there, then we can do a 16-man run and the lockout carries through to Sunday.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Anyways, there's this game. It's called Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, it's kind of older, right?
Oh,
It's
you
an
guys were talking about that on Discord, I remember.
All right, so that is probably one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
The whole fact of like that was like the original game for me for like an action game that was progression. Because you would get, what was my favorite sword in the beginning? Shit, it wasn't the short sword.
The
It was
Chrysogram?
huh? No,
The Chrysogram?
no. Think like level 1 sword. It was shit. It was like a rounded sword, almost like
Like
Well,
Scimitar?
question for you.
Yes,
What the
yes,
hell
yes.
is Castlevania? I never heard of it.
Are you kidding
What?
me right now?
No, I'm serious. I never played it. What the
Dude,
hell is it?
You've never heard of a Metroidvania style game? The Vania in that is Castlevania.
No, I never played
It's
that.
like side-scrolling, like
Are you
semi-platform.
are you trolling me right now?
No, dude, I'm serious.
It's one of the most
I'm
popular
not
games of
familiar
all
with this
time.
game.
All right, so you need to Google what Castlevania Symphony of the Night is right now. Anyways, while I talk about it.
All right.
So, all right, you need to do that. So, my favorite game. So then yesterday, I see this video pop up. It's called Bloodstained, and I'm like, "What the hell is that?" So then
Come
I
on,
click
credit
on
where
it.
credit's due. Who told
Well,
you what it was?
I'm getting there. So Medullah says, "Well, it's the guy who made Castlevania Symphony of the Night made this game," and I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?" He said, "No." I was like, "He's like, here's the launch trailer." So I immediately came home, got on Steam, and yeah, look up Bloodstained. Yep, Spiritual of the Night. That's it. I downloaded that shit and I played it for an hour last night. And I'm just gonna
Okay.
tell you,
I see
it's
the
a-
problem here.
what is it?
This came out in the 90s, right? Like 97?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like David Bowie doesn't remember like 1976. I kind of like don't remember the 90s.
Okay. All right, fair enough. All right, that's fair enough. So the game is awesome.
Yep.
I kind of want this podcast to be over so I can go play it. And, I did not buy it on a console.
I don't know why you get tripped up. Who the hell did we have on that tripped you up?
It was the council member, Sakari.
Sakari, yes.
Yeah, and I kept calling everything council instead of console. Anyways, doesn't matter. So I love this game. I cannot wait to play it more.
I played it for about 3 hours today.
Well, so here's my deep dark secret: is I wish I had a Switch because they have it on a Switch, and that would be like, that's like the perfect game. Like, I can pretend I'm hanging out with my wife on the couch while I'm playing that with no sound, while she's playing on her phone watching whatever bullshit TV she's watching.
The Bachelor.
Well, no,
Well, here,
I'm not even allowed in the room with her.
I'll make you feel better. The Switch version of the game, A, it's not out until next week, and B, it's locked at 30 frames per second, where the other ones are 60. So you wouldn't have wanted that anyways.
Well, I play it in 4K on my computer, but what I'm saying is if it was more portable, shit, I would play it on the pooper.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, that's why I can't wait for Norman's Night in the Cave.
Right. I've been breaking out Breath of the Wild lately. Actually, I forgot to add that in. I've had my Switch 4 times, like intending to play it like on break or at work or whatever, but that doesn't happen, obviously.
No, and I say I play it at work on lunch, but I would never play it on work because my phone's ringing nonstop.
Right.
At lunchtime.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we got to move on.
Oh, did you have another thing?
I was just gonna say, Nick, what do you want to talk about?
Well, in SWTOR news, Max and Seema are the newest content creators spotlight for the game, so congratulations to Max and Seema.
Yay!
Woo!
So not only are they this section, so they started with Sotorista, then they did Volk. Now it's Max and Seema's turn, to be spotlighted by the BioWare and the SWTOR team. They're coming up on episode 300.
That's
I think
crazy.
it's like 3 weeks away.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, 5 years of podcasting.
That's nuts.
That's a long time.
Yeah, Nick is ready to strangle me after 47 episodes.
And it's like they never miss it either.
Right.
Yeah, they're always on the money.
so-
they never have mic problems or have to redo an entire episode or anything like that.
No,
They never have hack guests,
Well,
Yeah, like some stupid guildies or whatever.
Are you implying that's me? Wow, what a jerk. Anyways, the thing for
Just
me
threw
is,
you off a
well,
lot.
where they got it right is they said, you know what, we're going to do it on Tuesday or Thursday nights, and we're going to do it at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculously late for me. But what they said is they won't miss that.
Right, because it's easy to...
Unless they're traveling, but they're not going to miss it because that's a time where they know they're going to be in front of their computer and they can do a podcast.
Right.
But I could, so...
I couldn't consistently stay up late all
right.
the time.
No. Well, I joke and say as soon as Seema says, well, we're recording on a Tuesday night and we just finished Mandatory Fun Night, that's when I'm snoring, just starting to snore on the pillow.
Right.
But anyway, really, congratulations, guys. If it wasn't for you, I don't think I would have started a podcast.
Right? Me
Yeah.
either.
Well done,
or-
guys. Congrats, guys.
Yeah,
Yep,
for
that's
sure.
huge.
So anyways, today they released that Star Wars The Old Republic is changing their subscriber preferred
Subscription section.
program.
So there's obviously 3 different ways to play as a subscriber: free to play or preferred. So they kind of changed the definitions of each. Free to play is now players that have not spent any money and have access to the original storyline of the game. Preferred is players that either used to be subscribers or have spent money on the cartel market, and a subscription is players that obviously pay a monthly fee to access all the gameplay content of SWTOR. And while the team is hard at work revising some systems for the Onslaught expansion, we also want to show some love to the free-to-play and preferred players. Most notably, these changes will be to the credit cap, quick bar, medical probe, and quick travel limitations. So they highlight what they changed about each one. The increased credit cap says, long gone are the days where you could buy a gallon of Bantha milk for 5 credits. Initially, when we developed our free-to-play and preferred models, a cap of 200,000 credits and 350,000 credits respectively seemed like a fair amount. Over the years, it has become a simple truth that these amounts don't buy what they used to. As our game has grown, so has the economy. Taking this into account, we'll be raising the credit cap for both free-to-play and preferred members to 1 million credits.
That's fantastic. But I still say, stop being a cheap ass and buy something.
Right.
I don't understand people who don't pay to play a game. If you download the game and you play it for 10 minutes, go spend, $5 on the cartel market, and now you're preferred, and you get that much. I don't know. I don't believe games should ever be free.
Right.
I'm just anti-free.
Free should be just to try it out to see if you like it. That's
okay,
it.
so yeah, free should be 7 days free. Like Final Fantasy 14, not free. World of Warcraft, not free, and they're successful. Yeah.
Well, that's what drives me nuts is the Star Wars model for free to play. There's a lot of restrictions for appearances and cosmetics and things like that, but if you don't spend a dime on the game, you get the original 8 fully voiced class stories, unlimited time, you don't get level locked, you can get up to level 50, you can do the entire stories, you're good. There's no other MMO that gives you that much content for absolute free. And everything on the cartel market is purely cosmetic, there's no pay to win. It's a fantastic model, but you still see people complaining all the time.
Bunch of fucking millennials.
Well, right.
Right.
So,
so they also added an extra quick bar, but that's just, obviously an extra quick bar.
No offense meant on the millennials comment, by the way.
Oh, it's all good. I'm barely a millennial. I'm almost in the next.
I'm technically a millennial.
Right. I think people are often misuse the millennial term. It's more like the generation below them, because you're smack in the middle. Marcus, are smack in the middle of the millennial generation.
I'm at the beginning,
and I'm at the and I'm at the tail end of it.
Yeah, you're at the we're all screwed version.
Right.
I'm at the okay, I'm the beginning of being screwed.
Right.
And once you guys
by the time you get to my age,
yeah,
my age group, yeah.
Anyways, what else are we getting?
They are making some changes to the medical probes and quick travel. Medical probes allow a character to revive where they died instead of recovering at a medical station. Quick travel allows players, obviously, it's fucking quick travel. Both of these features have been primarily available to subscribers, while preferred and free-to-play players were screwed. Both of these features have been removed from the cartel market, and every player will be able to revive or quick travel where applicable. Which is great. That
one's huge.
Yeah,
that's bigger than the credit cap.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's.
Well, I don't know what is 1 million credits still. What is 1 million credits going to actually get you?
Right.
I'm mostly you buy your story crap or repair your gear, I guess. But
I still don't know.
But not a whole lot.
Maybe some adrenals, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of these.
You don't need adrenals though if you're free to play. You're not doing anything that requires them.
That's true. So all of these changes to the credit cap, the quick bars, the medical probes, and the quick travel. That's a lot of C sounds. Will be going live on Game Update 5.10.4 sometime in July.
So the nightlife is back. So spend your credits, go to the casino, and lose.
Hey now.
Come on.
I got my Rhodian yesterday.
Well, I haven't even tried. But anyway, so the nightlife is back. It's running from June now until July 30th. Go try to win some stuff. Go give BioWare your credits back. I'm not spending my credits on it because I'm saving my credits. Saving. In Guild news, Mega was last Friday, and we did a PvP night hosted by me, but I really didn't say much, and it was actually great because, holy cow, Medullah, you're on the show.
Whoa, how convenient.
Yeah, so Medullah actually took everybody. We went to Rishi, we did some hutball, we did some fun things, but then we actually went into the we did
Novari Coast first.
Yep, and Medullah kind of walked us through the map, explained what we had to do, and then we did a match against each other, and then we did another one. I think it was Alderaan.
Civil War.
Yep, Alderaan Civil War, and same kind of thing, and which for non-PvPers
like me
and me, it's good to hear strategies because whenever we go in there or I go in there to do it, I'm like, all right, so I just need to click this node and that's it. But really, that's not just it. Sometimes just defending a node is better than capping the node, and that's what I learned there. What are we doing next month, Nick?
Next month is Mega. So the Mega event is going to be Ancient Threat on Yavin 4.
Yeah, so
the details and date are TBD.
So we're working on the date. One of our guildies, Thun, he asked me, he's like, please just wait until July. I'm in Singapore with my family.
Right.
So can you wait to do the Ancient Threat? And I said, sure. So it's going to be
sometime in July.
And the Ancient Threat is the hidden boss on Yavin 4. And there's a bunch of steps prior to. You got to go to Tatooine, click on something, and then you have to find the 4 Force Ghosts on Yavin 4, get the buff, and then you can summon the Ancient Threat.
That's cool.
And supposedly it's really hard, but then I have Nightmare Raiders who tell me it's simple. So I don't really know, but
it's going to be mega.
It'll be mega.
Yeah, I don't think I've done that one yet. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I definitely haven't.
Yeah, so make sure you guys
come on down.
But I don't have the date yet. So
yeah, I'm sorry I missed that PvP night. That I was looking forward to it. Just family got in the way.
Yeah, no problem.
Those pesky kids.
And
those pesky kids.
You know, Nick, did you hear about what the guild does on Tuesdays?
What? There's something on Tuesdays. If only there is something fun to do. It's mandatory fun night where attendance is not mandatory, but the fun is.
So every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, the real world time, we do all fun things in SWTOR. So if you want, grab the Discord info and come join us on Tuesdays.
If all this sounds fun to you, go to aie-guild.org, jump into the Discord info that Marcus was just alluding to, ask for a guild invite, and get involved in, SWTOR or any of the other cool games that AIE peeps are playing.
I'm trying to get one of the guys who's playing the Division 2.
Yep.
There's a huge guild presence in the Division right now.
I've never played it.
I haven't either, but it looks awesome.
I would play. I like all the Rainbow Six games.
Right, so the Division, but it's an MMO, loot shooter MMO, but I can't play 2 MMOs. I've tried a million times. There's not enough time for me to do that.
Yeah, no way.
And honestly, that's why I'm really excited for that Bloodstained game, because then I can play a little bit of that and then still play SWTOR, because whenever I play another game for a period of time, I feel like I'm cheating on SWTOR.
Right.
Anyways.
Right.
Nick.
Did you ever finish Red Dead 2?
Me? No.
Oh, I know
Marcus?
you. No, Marcus. Yeah.
Marcus hates PS4.
Marcus didn't even get past the snowy part. I don't think.
So it's not packaged up because I've been really busy. But when Nick drives away from my house, my PlayStation 4 Pro is gone. I'm done with it. It's garbage.
We're making a swap.
Yeah.
Since he played his PS4 Pro so little, I'm just gonna take it, and that'll be mine, and then I'm going to buy him an Xbox One X.
Thank God. I hate the PlayStation. The interface sucks. The controllers are awful. And who uses triangle, square, X, and circle? It's A, B, X, Y.
We have an X?
Sorry, buddy. I'm a PlayStation fan.
No, I'm with Marcus 100% on this.
And something else is I like that. I just like the Xbox better. I just like the Xbox better.
Yeah.
And for the amount that I'm actually going to play, I might as well play the system that I like.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give you that the controller on the Xbox is a lot better. We already talked about that.
It's a way better controller. But at the same time, I am, I barely play it.
Right.
But I do get to get my old gamer tag back.
Dirty Muffin Man?
Yeah. I can't wait. Anyways, Nick, you want to take a break?
I do. We'll be right back. And we're back. So today we're discussing the PvP in SWTOR, which is player versus player, if you didn't already know that. And talking about any and all hype that we might have coming out of E3.
So I'm underhyped and I'm hyped for E3. So I'm excited to talk about that. As you know, I don't do a lot of the PvP, so it's kind of one of those things where I just think that everybody should be cavemen in PvP because then everybody's equal.
Oh, you mean just bash each other back and forth?
Yeah, everybody's butt naked.
Like Rock'em Sock'em Robots?
Exactly.
Naked PvP, awesome.
All right, anyways. So, guys.
Let's start with PvP.
Let's start.
So, obviously, you two are resident PvP connoisseurs. Do you want to kind of get into why you like PvP and how long you've been playing it
Well,
frequently?
first of all, Medullah and I decided we are challenging the two of you guys on a 2v2, or hell, we'll even do 1v2. We don't care.
Damn.
Well, how about this? I know that I'm gonna lose because Medullah took on 4 people in the Alderaan Civil War thing when 4 people couldn't cap the node with him there. So the likelihood that me and Nick can beat Medullah or you
Slim to none.
is slim to none. It's like a 0. What's 0 plus 0, Nick?
00?
Yeah, double 0 chance. Okay, there's not even there's like a 0.000.
That would be like,
0.
on the flip side, them challenging us to 2v2 in paintball.
Yeah, that would be epic.
That would be
Ugh.
epic.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah, I just shoot myself in the chest and say, "Whoops, sorry guys."
I'm out.
Dude,
So-
last time I did, I got one in the throat and one in the groin. No, thank you.
All right.
Sounds like another day at the park for me.
So I'm gonna start with you, Medullah. What is it you enjoy about PvP?
I grew up I wasn't much of a gamer for like the Call of Duties and things like that. My gaming roots start with like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, all that. I never really enjoyed fighting computers. I was always enjoying fighting other people. So that transitioned naturally into MMOs. My first and only one other than Star Wars was EverQuest. And back then, PvPing actually had real stakes. So think of it like in Star Wars now, everything was open world PvP, Marcus. So you'd be walking around, you'd be doing your missions, you'd be doing whatever, and somebody could jump you for whatever reason. So it's
Like
kinda
Ultima was. Ultima.
yeah, and it's like the instances we have now. The difference being, if I popped out of nowhere and I killed you, I got to take your chess piece away from you. So while there were raiders that were going and they were doing the big raids or operations, they were getting really cool gear from that. Me and my guildmates were killing them to take their gear from them. And that was just fun to me. It ruined people's days. I got nasty whispers, nasty tells.
Yeah, but that's the purpose of the game.
Exactly. So when I started doing Star Wars, that was back when they had PvP servers, which was the same type of thing. There was no instances. There was no PvE and PvP zone. Everything was PvP. And I enjoyed that. I like the added element of danger. So I didn't get into war zones right away when I started playing because I didn't like the idea of them being planned PvP sessions. I liked more open world dueling and things like that. But once I did get into them, I really enjoyed them. I'm not a ranked PvP player. I don't play the arenas all that much, but I love objective-based PvP. My big thing with PvP, the reason I like it more than PvE, is because it's different every time. With raiding, you look at Brontes when you guys were doing them. It's always the same fight. It's it's all about pattern recognition. So as long as you know how the fight goes and you know how to play your class, you will eventually get past that part. Every single fight you do in PvP is completely different. I could be going up against someone like Marcus who doesn't, know his moveset. He doesn't know which moves to use at which time. He doesn't know that when I'm rolling, he's not going to be able to kill me. But on the other hand, I could go up against someone like Nezzir, who's been doing PvP and he knows exactly what to do, and it's going to be a lot more of a fight. I like the difference in it, and the rush I get when I'm actually close to winning or close to taking a node or something like that.
Well, I'll just say it's like when what is it? The BlizzCon. Last year's BlizzCon, I watched some of like the PvP tournament there, like the World Championship. Those matches lasted like 15 minutes.
Yep.
And these guys were not dying at all. I'm like, how the fuck are they staying alive this long? And so
You're talking World of Warcraft?
Yes. But it's essentially the same style of PvP.
Yeah, well, obviously Star Wars is heavily influenced by WoW.
Well, right, but what I'm saying is it's not like a Call of Duty PvP where, my motto is spray and pray, right? Where you go in and just run around with a gun out and you get a kill. So Nezzir, why do you like PvP?
All right, very similar to Medullah. I mean, for me, the I did the single player games too. Diablo's a huge Diablo fan. Neverwinter Nights before then, stuff like that. And then when RTSs came aboard and started playing StarCraft, loved me some StarCraft, and a couple of other games of that genre. And then you had the PvE versus PvP. You could go you against the computer, and we'd always have a blast. But you didn't. You got killed. All right, let me change my strategy. And all right, this is the strategy because it was the computer had the same method every time, no variation. So once you figured out how to beat that method by the computer, you were done. Whereas PvP is, okay, here the enemy throws ground troops at you. The very next time, that player may throw air troops at you. Okay. So, and then when World of Warcraft came out, and I went from the original Warcraft RTS to World of Warcraft, the World, which was awesome world, awesome story. Okay, great. PvE, you go in and you start doing your raids, your flashpoints, or instances, as they called it. And it's the same thing. You just, once you learn the mechanics of the fight, it's easy mode at that point. Whereas, as Medullah said, is PvP. It's different every single time, and you really have to challenge yourself. And kind of what I said earlier, you really want to learn how to play your class really well and know your abilities really well.
Oh, yeah.
You play PvP because you will learn everything to maximize all of your ability to win that fight because it's different every single time. So it's the personal challenge of it that I really like.
Right. I understand that. It's just, you're right. So like you learn fights in operations because it's PvE, you're going against a computer and it's the same thing, where like what you guys are saying is when you're going against 4 or 8 other people, you don't know what the hell they're going to do. So it's the element of surprise there versus repetition. I mean, anybody can learn a fight if you've done it. I mean, anybody can beat Dread Fortress in 6 months if you just keep doing it every week.
Exactly. And what we're going through with EC, sure. I mean, and the only reason, frankly, that I raid nowadays is because I'm hanging with a great bunch of guys.
Yeah.
The AIE peeps, the bad feeling peeps, awesome people. And that's what makes it fun. That's what makes MMOs so much more fun versus single player games. But by nature, I'm like with Medullah. I'm all into PvP.
All right. So, what do you guys think of the current state
of PvP?
I think we're at a point right now where it's sort of a I'm trying to think of the right word for it. It really hasn't changed much. The people that play PvP are the same people that play. If I hop on and do a Warzone, I'm going to recognize half the names of people that are out there. I think it got in a bad state, especially for ranked, when they introduced endgame crafting mats as rewards for PvP, because their idea behind that was to encourage people to step out of their comfort zone and try PvP and perhaps like it. But what actually happened was people would just go in, kill themselves, and gather the mats for doing the daily. And that makes nobody's experience fun. Nobody wants to steamroll through another team. Nobody wants to be on the team that gets steamrolled. It's still fun. There's no doubt about it. But I don't think it's very open to new players at this point. Yeah, so
I'm not a big fan of ranked. Never have been, even going back to the WoW days. And the WoW came out, and I was there pre-launch in the beta. So going back to, what was it, 2004, and I never liked ranked then for a couple of reasons. One, it's a cesspool. Everyone in there is just so toxic. You suck, quit, go back to regulars. I'm like, shit. If everyone left and stopped playing ranked, because you were nasty to them, you wouldn't have anyone to play with. But also, ranked has a tendency in small groups like that is really your subject or your victim of synergy, where some classes work really well together and are really good and built for a ranked small group versus a regular war zone when you have 8 people, when you're objective based, where every class is viable. We're ranked, some are better than others. And I'll give you a great example. And I think Medullah and I have debated this before, but snipers. I have a sniper or gunslinger. It's such a fun class to play. And whenever I go into regs, I'm, as Snave calls it, a reg star, man. I'm topping the charts with kills and DPS and objectives and all that. But I get into a ranked, and it's like, please, 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 please let me survive 30 seconds. Because, sniper, instant target over my head. Boom, I'm dead in, no time flat.
All right, so we just need to make one thing clear right now. There's not a lot of things that is not allowed on Working Class Nerds. The name Snave is not to be mentioned on this show. That dude is the biggest poisonous piece of junk on the planet, and that guy, he's not a good human being, and I hope he rots in hell.
So
but
moving
the
on.
point is, look. I mean, I'm not a great with a gunslinger. I know there are people that do it really well, but all I know is whenever I see, as a lethality operative, whenever I see a gunslinger or a sniper, that's who I'm going for first, every time, because they're the most susceptible to taking down.
And I will cut in and disagree, because a sniper or a gunslinger that knows their class and knows their cooldowns is second only to a merc as far as hard to kill. Now, one that doesn't know what they're doing, they're going to be easy to kill. But a sniper has more defensive cooldowns than almost any other class in the game.
It is a tougher. It's easy to play, hard to master for sure.
Yep.
But I'll still, when I see one, I'm always going for one. Always, every time.
Unlike a Juggernaut or a Power Tech, where they will absolutely melt if you focus on them because they just don't have the defensives.
I'll agree with that. But most snipers don't play them well.
Yeah.
And I think what Medullah and I are pretty much saying is in ranked, again, like I said, it's subject to how well you know the class. For sure, you can be good, but I don't know why they don't make all arena or all war zones ranked, as it were. Because I think they've previously gone out and said that they have their own internal ranking ELO type of system for matchmaking purposes. So why the hell don't they make, and I think Chuck and Brian have said that on on Bad Feeling, why don't they make all war zones ranked, as it were? I don't get it.
Yeah, and that's where I disagree, because I think unranked war zones or regs, it's for people that just want to come in, have some fun. They want to win. They don't really care if they lose. When you start introducing rankings to it, that's when it starts getting toxic. Because if I'm on a team and I'm worried about my ranking and I want to finish in the top 99, and I'm on a team that just does stupid things, that's going to ruin my day as opposed to ruining my hour like it does now. And I'm not going to lie, I get angry in PvP. If I see someone doing something stupid, I will scream at the computer, I'll type in chat and yell at them. That's just the kind of person I am. But I'm done when the match is done. As soon as you have ranking in there, that's when it gets a little bit more tricky.
I tend to agree there.
Well, I was just going to say, don't you, Nick, you do ranked in Rainbow Six Siege.
Yes, and for me, my philosophy on that is Siege similarly has a casual and then a ranked section. And casual is good. I think Overwatch does as well. It's good for trying things out, like trying a new character that you don't normally main or you don't normally play, and without penalty, So even if originally I was agreeing with Nezzir, saying like, well, that kind of works out because if you're new and inexperienced, you're going to be a low rank anyway. So then as you get experience, you can rank up and get to where your skill level is. But then I was realizing, but what if you're at like I don't know, somewhere in the middle ranks or upper ranks even, and now you want to change up your playstyle or try a new character, or in Siege it's a new operator under your same account, not like SWTOR where you have one tune and that's your tunes rank. If you want, for example, in Siege, if you wanted to try a new operator that you don't normally play, well, you're not gonna know what the heck you're doing and what their strengths are and like the best places to put their gadgets. So that you kind of need, or it's very helpful to have that casual place to do that, to try things out or experiment or learn, I guess.
Well, casual place is great, but you still want to be able to have access, and this is what we were talking earlier about the command system. You still want access to the best gear, and right now with OSIS, you can't get the best weapons in some of the best gear unless you're doing ranked. Or you can, but it's a lot harder. You really have to do ranked, or you have to do hard mode Queen.
Right.
It'd be very tough.
It like I did.
Well, you got money. So Me, I play a little bit arenas, not a lot. I do some, and I'll be honest, some classes I do better at. Like I got a commando that I switched over to healer. My win percentage is way higher in ranked than it is for Nezzir. Even though I'm a better player, I play my operative better, but the commando is it's a better class for arenas.
Right.
Whereas, so if I'm like casual in terms of time frame, I just want to be able to go in and I like the objective. I mean, I like them. The war zones are fun. So, some of the objectives based stuff is fun. I mean, Medullah, what's your favorite war zone?
Yavin and Civil War. Civil War is my absolute favorite.
I like Civil War, but I also actually really like Navarre Coast.
That is my least favorite by far.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and I talked about this at Marcus's event. Novari Coast is the only war zone that can drag on forever if there's a stalemate. Every other war zone, somebody's going to win, somebody's going to click one node, and that's going to push it forward. Novari Coast, if somebody doesn't capture 2 cannons, it will go on and on and on. And
Alderaan's like that too. You see people fight over the middle forever.
Yeah, but if nobody caps the middle, whoever got the left or right node first is going to win. That there's no getting around it. And honestly, I've been in matches where that's the winning thing because I'm an operative and I can get to the node a half second faster than the person that's going to the other node. We win because I was able to get there a split second quicker. It's going to take longer, but it's not going to take an infinite amount of time like Novari Coast.
Yeah, so it's all personal preference, obviously. I mean, one of the things, and I guess one of the questions that Marcus and Nick were asking, what we like and don't like about it is one of the things I think the game is lacking is a really epic type of war zones. Like, wow, we had Alterac Valley, and I think there's another one, I can't remember the name of it now, but it's like 40 on 40, and those were epic, massive maps. It's almost like imagine. Ilum during the Gree, where that's the whole size of the map, the PvP map. I mean, you got to mount up.
Have you played since launch, Nez? Did you ever play when Ilum was the free-for-all PvP?
Yeah, zone? You mean the whole lag fest? Sure.
Yes,
and that's SWTOR just can't handle that. The engine.
No, I know it can't, but it would be nice if we could have something. And I don't know, maybe they've had improvements where maybe they can do something like that because the engine has gotten better.
Have you done the World Boss Enosis?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so I get it. The current, what I hear you guys saying is you guys like PvP because of the variety of the fights.
Right.
Yep.
You don't like ranked, because it's only 4 on 4. But I think I'm going to.
Well, hold on that. Because he and I both really like open world, and the open world tends to be skirmish bait, 2v2, 3v3, 4v4 type of thing, and that's a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, but open world, this game is not made for open world PvP. I think the vast majority of the players of this game are, KOTOR fans, and they play this game because it's an MMO and it's Star Wars, but it's mostly PvE, right? I would never go if this game was open world PvP. I don't know if I would play it, or I would avoid it at all costs because that's just not me. But my point is I don't understand the reason to do if you like PvP, sorry. If you like PvP, then why not do ranked? Because that's where the real rewards are, and that's really where you're going to test your skill in the game, where you're going to get angry at people who aren't doing what they're supposed to. But if you're in regs, as you call it, that's the whole point of it.
So Marcus, let me put it to you this way: if you're raiding and you're doing Brontes, and you guys keep dying because someone keeps running into the lightning bolts, do you get angry?
No.
You're lying.
Well,
It's the same thing. My goal is to win the war zone. Your goal is to kill Brontes. If I see someone not call for help on a node, that's the same as somebody running into lightning on Brontes.
okay, so yeah, you said the word angry. I don't get angry. You get upset, and that's where
Frustrated.
yeah, frustrated, right? Because again, you need just like I get with PvP, you need 8 people doing their job, right?
Yep.
But what I'm saying, I guess this is feeding into my point, where if you go into ranked, you're pretty much there's like a 60-40 chance that you're gonna get a player who is
Sucks.
No. That wants to do the right thing to win in ranked. Where Nick, I'm going to go to you, Nick. When you play ranked Siege, right?
Yep.
You want to win it, and you're expecting the people that are playing ranked with you to know what they're doing.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. So, but when you play casual, if you get in a group of people that are like me
And have no idea.
you're like, okay, I want to win, but I'm in casual. Like it's expected to get banana heads to play with you.
Right.
So
You're going to have people all pick recruit.
right.
Exactly. So I guess my next question would be, compared to how it is now, what are you guys looking forward to as far as the PvP changes in 6.0?
Well, I think, quite frankly, the tactical items are going to completely change PvP. It's going to break it pretty bad, but I'm pretty interested to see how it works. So, did you guys see the data mined abilities for like warriors and
Yep.
inquisitors?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
All right.
So
Go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead, Marcus.
I was gonna say is we really don't, I don't really follow the data mine stuff. I saw it pop up, and I think some of the stuff is pretty cool. But what
Yep.
I like, before we jump into the tactical items, well, the one thing that I really like about what they're doing for PvP this time is making everybody max gear level. So
Yeah.
you're going to be bolstered. So no longer do you have to grind out the best gear in the game for PvP. So if you go into a PvP war zone, you are max level gear, ranked and unranked. I
Yeah.
like that. So now it's more of a skill base.
And knowing like abilities and things like that.
Right. So now
Right.
if me and you go against Nezzir and Medullah and we get our butts kicked, it's because they know what the hell they're doing and we're just rolling our faces on the keyboard.
Right. Exactly. It
Well,
works
see,
sometimes.
here's the problem. Here's the problem, and the whole thing with tacticals and set bonuses, and now there's multiple set bonuses and mixed and match set bonuses. I have concerns about that because, yeah, it's great. I love the concept of being, naked PvP, as it were, where everyone's equal. Guild Wars 2 does that, and they do it well. But the problem is, and we've seen this in multiple MMOs, when you have all the choices, there will almost always be a set. This is the spec you must have to max min.
I think we're going to see that a lot more in PvE.
I think you're going to see in
I'm sorry, I didn't mean
PvP
to
too.
interrupt you.
I bet you, I will put money on the fact that you're going to see it in PvP as well. That this is the spec to get. So unless you're a max minner, the max minners will have a little bit of advantage. Now it's all theory crafting because we don't know how much of an advantage it's going to get. We don't know what percentage it's going to be.
Anytime you anytime you put little bursts of mastery or endurance or crit or anything, of course, like the hardcore PvPers or PvEers are going to min-max that gear. But the fact is when you go into the war zone, you're all going to be max gear level right away. So right away you're in. If you picked an item that gives you a +4 mastery, but Medullah picks a +4 crit, who's going to have the advantage? I have no idea.
Yeah, see, I'm not talking about that though, Marcus. I'm talking about the tactical items, which give you different abilities or different changes. So, Nez, one of the ones that the assassins have that you can see its use in PvP is you're able to use sap or mind trap on 2 people.
Right.
And that is
massive.
insanity in
Massive.
PvP. It's BioWare has been rough about balancing classes. I mean, you look at a Merc versus a Power Tech in PvP right now, you would think the Power Tech being a tank class is going to be able to survive easier than the Merc, where the Merc is the most survivable class in the game in PvP.
Right.
I am concerned that they're going to have trouble balancing based on all these tacticals. Now, that said, I think it's going to be fun as hell, and I think we're going to have some opportunities to really do some crazy stuff.
Yeah, the
So,
more choices you give people, like, any of you guys ever play Rift?
nope.
No.
Okay, so Rift was, first of all, it's a beautiful game. It was fun. I mean, the animations, the spell effects were fantastic. But they had like imagine the specs that we have in SWTOR. Now imagine each class might have like 4 specs and that you can mix and match. It was the amount of options and choices that you could build it was like an insane amount of different builds. Remember when SWTOR originally came out and you had your hybrid specs? And the class imbalance was crazy because people would come up with creative specs that the developers never intended for it to be that good, like the Smash Monkeys, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
And Rift was like that on steroids. The more choices you give, players will figure out ways to really tweak it and game it to where there's unintended advantages or disadvantages. So I don't know. I've got reservations. We'll see how it plays out. But
Okay, so let's dive into these tacticals now. So you mentioned how they're possibly going to make the assassin OP, overpowered. But people have been complaining about the Merc bubble and the Sorc God bubble forever, right? So of course there's going to be classes that are more powerful than others. Nick, in Rainbow Six Siege, are there other classes that are more powerful than others?
Yes. Well, they usually buff them though. So, like, for example, Ella, when she first came out, her gun shoots, like, one of the fastest in the game. It had 0 recoil. So, like, it was just unfair because you could just shoot somebody, like, 7 times in the head before they'd even know you started shooting.
Right, but after they buffed that, or nerfed that, I should say, is there still, like, of course anybody can balance.
There's always a hierarchy of characters, you know what I mean? There's, like, I guess they call it the meta comp, or meta composition of the game, of things that are going to work better or best together or best in this situation based on this map or whatever. So I'm sure in SWTOR there's better classes and builds for certain war zones in a similar fashion.
Hold on.
Right?
First of all, let me talk with general balance. Okay. And kind of where I was eventually going to get to with the whole Rift comparison and WoW, there are some classes, like you were saying, Nick, that are more powerful than others. But as a whole, I think SWTOR really is a pretty well-balanced game as a general rule of thumb. I mean, there isn't any one class that is not viable. I mean, there were days in the WoW days where it's like, oh, okay, rogue hits me. I'm playing a hunter and a rogue hits me. I'm literally dead before I break sunlock. There's nothing I can do. It's just you're fucked. There's no question. We don't have that in SWTOR. It's pretty well balanced. No matter what class you play, okay, some might be a little bit better than others, but I almost feel like no matter what class I play, I can hold my own against someone. Maybe they might have some advantages. Yeah, the Merc is generally more survivable, but me as my operative, I'll still go up against them anyway. Fuck it, and I'll go up against them and I'll beat one. It all depends on the skill level. The tacticals, will there be a difference? Yeah, but if you're good, Medullah's going to go kick someone's ass. There's no question because he's good.
Well, I guess, but you're not. So we're talking about what I think you got a little off topic to what I guess what I was trying to say, and maybe I wasn't clear. Coming in 6.0, everybody's going to be max level, right? Everybody. So now we're going to have these tactical items, and let's say the Marauder. Let's say I'll be able to use 3 abilities under the ferocity window, right? So I'll have the ferocity window open. Now, my question to you is, how is that going to compare to the Juggernaut, who has, I don't know, their reflect can last an extra 3 seconds, or like you said about the assassin that can do that, or, whatever these tactical items are, and how is that going to break it? how is that going to break the game?
It sounds
Well-
situational, I think. Like the assassin is the ability to sap two people. When you sitting there and you're trying to cap a node on objective base, and you have two people defending a node. Right now, you have two people defending a node in Alderaan, for example. You're not going to do it. Stealther's not going to be able to do it. But now all of a sudden, here comes an assassin, comes in the ability to sap both of them. Now he's got a legitimate chance of capping that versus two people. In an arena, maybe not so much of a difference breaker.
Yeah, I think the tacticals, when I say break, it's just going to mean really crazy. Certain people are going to have certain things. I think the unpredictability is going to be huge because I'm up against an assassin. I don't know if he's got that tactical that lets him sap two people, or if he's got another tactical that lets him use Force Shroud on whoever he's guarding. I think that's going to add a little bit of trickiness to it. Because as of right now, I know pretty much every class. I know their strengths. I know not to attack a merc when they've got their energy shield up. I think the introduction of all these tacticals and the different abilities, it's going to add a little bit of unpredictability to it, which I'm looking forward to. But man, it's going to be tough for them to balance it.
That's why
that makes
we
sense
got
to
to
you.
see what we got to see. It's right now. It's all theoretical. It's not even theory crafting at this point. It's all hypothetical. We don't know enough yet.
That's true. So, I guess to bring it back around to the front here, do you guys want to talk about what we like about E3?
Oh my God, yeah. Well, let me ask. I guess I'll bring it up. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about PvP coming?
No, I'm good. I could talk for hours, obviously, but I will shut up now.
Okay, here's one. Wednesday nights, and a big shout out to my my wingman here, Scrubland Chad, who's been
Friend
right
of the
there
show?
with me. Yep, friend of the show, guildmate, coming out there and appearing for some of these Wednesday night PvP runs. So anyone that wants to come join us Wednesday nights, that's usually a target. Maybe Saturdays, but right now my time frame is usually if I can, life active.
Okay,
Permitting,
so
Wednesday nights.
Right, so let's narrow it down. So Wednesday nights, what time?
Usually about 9:00 real world time.
Okay, in Eastern. And how long do you guys usually go for?
Yeah, a couple hours till about 11.
Great. And how can they find out where you are? What server?
Okay, so we're on Starforge, obviously. With actually, I think Nezzir. Yeah, I'm in AIE, and I got people in Bad Feeling too, Tunes in Bad Feeling. But look me up, Nezzir, on Starforge, Impside, Nezzira, with an AH at the end, is my fun slinger on Pubside. But usually I go on Impside.
Okay, great.
And Discord. Look us up on Discord.
Perfect. So, without further ado, let's talk about what we liked from E3. I know, for me, the first thing that stuck out, and I'm sure you guys can relate, was the trailer, the gameplay and cinematic trailer for the new Jedi Fallen Order game. That looks pretty awesome.
All right, so let's talk. Yes, it looks awesome. I think it looks a lot like Battlefront 2.
I think is it not the same engine?
It might be.
I think it's the same engine.
Oh, okay.
Was it Frostbite? I think it's Frostbite. Kind of reminded me of Red Dead 2.
It did. I like the third person. I've been liking the third person view, playing Red Dead, playing God of War. Actually, I think I played a lot their first Battlefront mostly in third person because you can see around corners and stuff. I liked the sort of exploring mechanic. That was pretty standard issue for me. But what I really liked was the lightsaber combat. At one point in the trailer, the character fights some guy with like I don't know what you would call it, like an energy sword thingy of some kind. Not a real lightsaber, but he had like one of those electric things.
It's like General Grievous's guards.
Right,
so
exactly.
Did it make you think about Assassin's Creed with a Star Wars skin on it?
No,
That's the sense I got.
But now that's what I'm thinking. But I would have to see like some of the crowd combat to think a little more like that. It looked like, I don't know what the actual gameplay is like because you can't see the controller inputs obviously, but it looked a little more dually than Assassin's Creed. If I remember, when I played Assassin's Creed, you basically just parried the whole time and then like waited for them to attack you and then you just hit them back. But in this, it looked like the lightsaber battle or combat was a little bit more, had a little more nuance to it, a little more things. I don't know, it's not going to be as complex as SWTOR with moves and things like that, but maybe it's something a little more along the lines of God of War, where you have different moves that work better, like to get stuns up or something like that. Or have, like, you know, light versus electricity with your arrows in God of War. Maybe you'll have, like, certain enemies are more vulnerable to force powers versus, like, a lightsaber, you know, attack or something like that. That could be pretty cool.
I'm looking for... I honestly, I don't really care about the game itself.
It's not really your style.
Well, no, I'm going to play it just because it's going to be canon, and there's going to be... It's a new story for Star Wars. Like, if you play Battlefront 2... and you play the campaign, that's a story that's never been told. The only way you could know who Ian Verso is if you listened or read the book Inferno Squad.
Right.
So, it's...
Did you guys read that?
I did.
I did not.
It was really good.
I got to get that.
It was... But what I'm saying is it's just another Star Wars story, so that's why I'll play it. I'll do it for the story. But again, I can't really involve myself in another story-driven game because I'm cheating on SWTOR.
Right.
Aren't you guys tired of that era, that 20-year gap, whatever, post-Jedi, prior to A New Hope? Isn't that kind of like gone into the ground? It's been used so much.
No, because...
No. At least not for me.
No, not for me either. I love Star Wars. I love what it's about. I'm not a Star Trek guy. I like Lord of the Rings, but you know, I'm not a fantasy guy, I guess. I'm more of a sci-fi fantasy guy. I just like Star Wars. I like the premise of it. I like what it does for me. And I guess it's more of a nostalgia thing because what it did for me as a kid.
Right.
Versus, you know, I think the future of Star Wars will be full of lightsabers moving forward. I think this closes an era of one lightsaber at a time or two. Because I think that's really what it makes it hard for me because if you play SWTOR, it's full of lightsabers, red, blue, green, whatever, purple, whatever color you want.
Yeah.
And you go to the Skywalker saga and it's always two.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Old Republic movie series. That's going to be awesome.
Well, that's right. And it's... The game itself is going to be good because it's about a Jedi, so you're finally going to get to use a lightsaber. And when was the last time we had a story-driven Star Wars game?
Oh, it's been a long time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for the game.
Me too. One more point before we move on to the next game, or piece of hype, I should say. I'm looking forward to seeing how your character has to hide the fact that they're a Jedi.
Yeah.
Into the story. That's going to be pretty cool too. Because they don't, when they're out in public or like in a public setting, in part of the cinematic trailer, you're like actively avoiding combat or like very, you know, discreetly using your force abilities. But then once you're in like an open war zone area away from like the public, then you just whip out the lightsaber and go to town.
Oh, you know, that reminds me. What would be really cool on that is if you did the flip side. If you played like a Sith during the time when there are not supposed to be any Sith. Like you guys ever read the book Darth Maul Shadow Hunter? Like when he was, you know, early days of Sidious's apprentice. You can't whip out your lightsaber and whatnot because God forbid you're found out by the Jedi.
Right.
Wasn't that basically the plot of Force Unleashed, though? You were Vader's secret apprentice?
I think so.
Yes. And I liked those games. I think they were fun. People didn't like them, but I'm excited that there's a new Star Wars story game.
Yeah.
I think, you know, and it's not tied to a multiplayer or anything like that. It'll be fun to play.
Yeah, but Marcus, you know, you don't really be caught cheating on SWTOR, do you?
Well, I'm telling you, I'll play it.
For about 4 hours.
No, I'll play the whole campaign because it's Star Wars and I'll be intrigued by it. But I'm not going to be the guy that's going to play it and then replay it on insane mode or anything like that. I'm going to play it on easy, enjoy the story, get back into SWTOR,
And be done.
with it.
It's funny. I was just listening to Escape podcast with Max and Seaman. I think that's what Seaman was talking about. That just like you, it's like, oh, I feel like I'm cheating on SWTOR because she wants the character progression. It's still single player games, man. You just don't have the character progression that we have in SWTOR.
Well, Nick played Skyrim for thousands of hours.
Yeah,
and that is character progression. It's just I could get into a game like that. I just because I have Star Wars: The Old Republic, I don't play another game.
Right.
And I don't feel like, honestly, like Bloodstained is great. I'm gonna play the snot out of it, but I can play that game for 20 minutes, hit a save point, and then go into SWTOR and not feel like I'm not gearing or doing anything, because once the expansion comes out, I'm not going to be playing anything else.
Right.
Because I'm going to be doing whatever it takes for a hard mode raid. What other games are coming?
The unpredictability of PvE versus PvP.
Yep.
So, I see written here, Marcus, that you're pumped about the Final Fantasy VII remake.
So I played the snot out of the original Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
All 90-something hours of that game.
Jesus. That's intense.
I still have my original save game.
So I didn't see this announcement, and if I had it, I just kind of went in one ear and out the other, because I'm not into JRPGs like you are, or you have been, I should say. So is this an HD remake, or is this like a reboot where they might tweak some stuff?
No, this is a complete new game.
Oh, that's
well,
cool.
it's the same story, but it's a whole new gameplay mechanic. It's a new game. They're basically remaking it to 2019 standards.
That's cool.
Probably it's action. It's an action RPG, JRPG.
Very cool.
You can make it turn-based, I guess I understood, but I'm not going to play it. I think it's cool. You're making another Final Fantasy VII. You're trying to bring back all those 30-year-olds who devoured their life into Final Fantasy VII to buy a game for
Right.
40 or 50 or 60 bucks, whatever it costs. And you're going to get those people, but most of those people aren't going to be able to play an 80-hour-long game, and I don't know how long that game's actually going to be. And if it's not 80 hours, people are going to be like, this isn't the same thing.
Speaking of revamping old games, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening is coming out for the Switch.
Now that is pretty dope.
That's pretty cool. I will probably get that.
Yep.
I never played the original.
What?
Because I was too little to understand how Zelda worked on the Game Boy. I could barely handle Pokemon, and I was terrible at it.
Link's Awakening is Awakening is a Super Nintendo game.
Oh.
It's on the 3DS as well. So
Okay.
I think what Nintendo is doing is Nintendo is releasing games that they know is going to sell.
Right.
Right? So
So
their
that they
most
can,
popular games,
Zelda, Mario, whatever.
Well, Zelda, Link's Awakening, that's the most selling Zelda game ever. It's the best story. It's the best story of all of them ever.
Well, I will disagree. But
Because you didn't play it.
Well, we can do an entire episode on Zelda games.
We should. I would love to do a Zelda game.
I gotta play.
If I could get the Triforce sound as my text message sound, I would get that.
You definitely can.
I don't think. iTunes
Maybe not
has
on
it.
an iPhone.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm really excited for Link's Awakening.
Me too.
But
I'm also excited for the Breath of the Wild sequel. The fucking trailer looked wicked cool. That's our hype button on our imaginary soundboard.
I actually read an article today about Breath of the Wild, and did you know that the reason why this came up is because they wanted to make downloadable content, but there was so much more they wanted to add to it. They're just like, we have to make a new game.
Yeah, that's exactly. So then instead of making DLC, they're like, fuck it, let's just do a whole second game.
Which, again, this is going to bring me back to Nintendo. Nintendo clearly isn't greedy.
You're right.
Because if it was EA
They would have done
or Activision or somebody, they would have just been like, let's come out with 100 DLCs.
Right.
And we'll make millions versus let's just make one game and we'll make $1 million. Which they're going to make more than that, but you know what I mean.
Yes, I gotcha. That looks really cool because obviously Ganon is coming, like really Ganondorf, not like the Calamity Ganon, which is like different creatures basically. Ganondorf looks like he's getting resurrected in this game, which is pretty cool to actually see legit Ganondorf back in action.
That's sweet.
And people are because Zelda is in there and she's wearing the same attire as Link and she cut her hair. People are speculating that they're going to be able to play as Zelda if you want.
I think it's going to happen.
I think so
That'd
too.
be pretty cool.
That would be really cool, especially if they turned it into like you can do co-op with people.
It's happening.
That would be epic. Like, you have to solve puzzles or fight co-op.
Well, Nick, how do you sell a ton of copies?
You make something co-op.
Co-op.
Just like, well, think about the original Pokemon games. If you want to catch them all, you need 2 copies of the game and a friend, or at least 2 Game Boys.
Yep.
Same deal.
Yes.
It could be 2 versions
and
of
you
the
link
Breath
them together with a cable.
Exactly. 2 versions of the Breath of the Wild trailer, and you link them over Wi-Fi or whatever you can do nowadays.
Well, I mean, with the technology, who plays next to each other anymore?
Yeah, nobody. But you can play. You can do it with your friend over the internet.
You can do it with your friend.
See, that doesn't work for me because I don't have any friends. Aww.
Oh, well, hey, friend. You know what? If you and I get a sequel, we can trade whatever Master Sword gems or whatever it might be.
Well, I think if it goes, I don't think it'll be like you get all the gear and I don't. I think it'll be just equal. Like if a sword drops, you both get it.
Yeah, or maybe there's like the Armor of Love where you have to, it only gets activated if you give it to somebody as a gift.
Well, right,
cool.
or you can only get some of the gear if you're playing the game co-op.
Or or you can only get some of the gear if you play the game as Zelda, and then vice versa. You can only get some of the gear
How
if you play it as
in-depth is
Link.
Breath of the Wild?
Extremely in-depth.
So, like, there's no way I could play that game.
It's not a game to, like, jump in for 10 minutes. Well, I should say, once you're, like, okay, if you commit, like, 10 hours, then you can, like, jump in for, an hour and jump out. You know what I'm saying? But, like, you need to get all, like, the game mechanics in and, like, know what's, like, happening in the world before you can just, like, hop in for a little bit and leave.
So kind of like Red Dead.
Yeah, you need to, like, get through all the tutorial and, like, do through most of, like, the Valentine stuff. Well, and then you can just kind of hop in and out.
Yeah, but, see, I don't, because then you forget how to do stuff and you forget how to craft or whatever.
Right, yeah, and that's
It's
true.
one of those, again, it brings me back to, I could not play that game even though I'd want to, because...
You feel like you're cheating on SWTOR.
Yep, thank you.
So, let's see. I can just keep going down my list here. Doom please. Eternal looks awesome. I played the first Doom. That's really fun.
You played the first Doom of the new Dooms?
The first Doom of the new Dooms. The OG Doom I did not play.
Okay.
Not actually substantially. But that's a cool game. You can hop in, kill a bunch of demons, and hop out. I'm looking forward to continuing to do that.
Yeah.
Marcus, do you have something written down? It looks like maybe something tied into a movie.
Oh, well, I saw the trailer for the Avengers game. I don't really actually know what it is.
I've not really... Yeah, me either. I didn't even see the trailer.
I saw a trailer, like a video of they just showed what actual parts of the trailer were gameplay, and it was like 15 seconds of actual gameplay footage.
Yeah.
So, but they haven't said what type of game it is yet.
Right.
So I'm kind of like, meh.
Yeah, same here.
I think it's kind of like the Ultimate Alliance games where everybody plays a different character, and it's kind of like an MMO type thing from what I've read about it.
That sounds cool.
Kinda like?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to ride the Marvel
hype train
right now because Endgame just came out.
Right.
And they're going to release this game and hope like everybody buys it because it's the Avengers, but I probably
and it's going to have a ton of DLC. That's the
It'll
biggest
be a
problem
never-ending game. Right. Well, I probably won't play it, but
yeah.
Something that was announced that I was kind of out of nowhere for me because I just didn't know about it. Did you guys hear about this Cyberpunk 2077 game?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'm a big Witcher fan. So
I was going to say, I'm more excited about that game because of the studio that made it than the game itself.
Yeah.
Because Project Red, is there a first word in that?
It's CD Projekt Red.
Thank you. CD Projekt Red. I had a mind fart there. CD Projekt Red is an awesome studio. Talk about not greedy. They released Blood and Wine for The Witcher 3, which is basically an entire second game as DLC. And that was pretty awesome. I like that studio. They do a lot of cool stuff. And they make an epic product. And then on top of it, one of my favorite actors, Keanu Reeves, is in the game as one of the people.
And they say that his dialogue is the most in the game.
It's mostly his dialogue?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So he's really acting in the game.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Well, I think it's time. And something else that I'm looking forward to, because do you guys remember The Witcher 3? Like, that broke PCs. When it was released, like, the graphics, it was almost like the original...
Crisis?
Crisis, yeah. It, like, broke computers. And that's what I'm really hoping for is there hasn't been a game to come out with great game-breaking graphics. So right now we're in the cycle where the consoles are, the PC games look better than all the consoles.
Right.
And now they're coming out with a new console. So all these new games that are going to come out are going to look great on the new consoles. But as time goes on, the PCs are just going to look better and better. Yeah.
Yeah. Go from like pretty even.
And my computer's pretty sweet, but I'm telling you, like that Cyberpunk game is going to break my computer.
Especially with all the crazy different colors and stuff. It's almost
what is it called? Ray tracing.
Yes, and it's like a God, what's the Blade Runner style, like atmosphere, which is pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it. I like that sort of Blade Runner atmosphere from Fallout. Has a similar vibe to it, especially if you go in some of the metro areas, which is obviously that's my favorite franchise of all time. But aside from 76. So I like that style anyway. I like the Blade Runner movies too, but and then having CD Projekt Red make the game, I'm really excited. And Keanu Reeves is in it. John Wick's like my favorite action series of all time.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen any of them?
I haven't either.
Oh my god. They are my John Wick's great. Mainly my favorite part is because it's got ridiculous gunplay in it, like he kills a bazillion people, that's the whole point. But it's all realistic shooting. Like there's no endless magazines or like bad guys that like miss or whatever. Yep. Like he gets shot, he gets stabbed. Like
he does the double tap when he kills people.
Right, he does realistically kills people. Exactly.
Isn't that rule 3 the double tap, or is that rule 2? I know rule 1 is cardio.
that's for Zombieland, I think, right?
Yeah.
In the apocalypse, rule 1 is cardio.
Yeah, rule 2 I think is double tap.
Double tap. Always double tap.
Yeah, always double tap.
Yeah, which he does, which is pretty cool. So that's my E3. I can scroll through my little cheat sheet here again,
all right, so while you're doing that, I'm just going to say, is it me or are game conventions slowly fading away? Now, PlayStation pulled out of E3.
Yep.
And even at PAX East, we noticed that
it wasn't as intense as
it was very indie game heavy.
Right.
But like the big studios weren't there.
Right.
I mean, there were some. Don't get it wrong. Like, is it because they're charging so much money and the game studios are like, we can just put trailers and like gameplay videos out on Twitch and all that, and we get the same publicity than we would being at this convention?
I think that makes sense.
Yeah. What does EA gain by showing up at those conventions?
You get a lot of people to play the game.
Yeah, but they can do their own thing if they really want to do it. And there's so much hype and publicity and press about their games anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think their sales have hurt.
Marcus has it right. It's the YouTube generation. Like, I didn't watch E3. I really didn't care about it. I watched the trailers I wanted to see after they came out. But like, when the trailer for Last of Us 2 came out, I have no idea where that was announced, when it came out, but man, I watched that trailer 3 or 4 times.
Right.
So,
and even going further than that, the last year's E3, like Bethesda, it was like a never-ending train of new games.
Right.
And new content for their games, and it was just like, I was blown away by that.
Like press conference?
Yeah, press conference.
Or like presentation.
Yeah, the presentation. This year it was just like underhyped. Like somebody was like, oh, E3 starts next week. And I'm like,
oh, it does?
Oh, it does? And then I looked at the games and I'm like, meh.
Right.
I wonder if it's also because we're coming to the end of this console generation and they're not quite ready to show the next generation of stuff yet.
Like I said, I mean, what does big studios have to gain by showing the next iteration of Madden or Battlefront or Battlefield or whatever? It doesn't really gain them a lot. They spend a lot of money to what end when they're going to get the same result just by, releasing stuff on YouTube or online.
Well, I agree.
It's a cost factor.
Yeah.
Well, that is my point. Is our video game conventions gonna slowly fade away in time and become just like indie conventions?
I think so.
You may be right. You may be right on that.
Because we both noticed when we were at PAX this year that the big game booths were smaller and the indies were everywhere. It was I would say it was mostly an indie show. Like they had their big games, but there was only like, let's say 5 big games where the original years when I went, it was all big games. Everything was huge.
Right.
Or maybe that AAA titles, they're fewer and fewer.
That could be it too.
No, the AAA titles are there, but they don't need these conventions. Just like Blizzard used to go to all of these E3 and all these other ones. They don't need to do that anymore. They started their own, but not even now. They don't even do it every year. They do it every couple of years.
Were they this
Probably
year? When did the Blizzard expansion come out? Was that last year or this year?
World of Warcraft? That was last year. The Battle of Azeroth or whatever?
Yeah.
That was last year because it was at PAX last year.
Yeah, I remember that. And there was an exclusive demo that you could play at that.
And
but what Blizzard did...
4 hours.
Right. Yeah, but Blizzard released that demo to everybody during that convention weekend.
Right.
So you don't have to go to the convention.
Right. Yeah.
Either way. So could you guys please tell us where people could find you online?
Well, on Twitter, I am Nezzir, Nezzir.
Yeah, I really don't have too much of an online presence. I'm on Reddit as Medullah a lot. You see me arguing with people on the SWTOR forum all the time.
Nice. That's my place of...
When I say I am Nezzir, it's I-A-M Nezzir.
Oh, good to clarify.
Awesome, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
No problem, guys. Thanks.
What are you guys talking about in here?
Find out next episode of Working Class Nerds.